Here's what happens. One thing I say a lot to my followers or colleagues who are leaders is that you don't have to make the decision yourself. Your responsibility is to make sure things happen. Therefore, you can delegate the responsibility for making the decisions to others. We'll talk about delegating tasks in lesson 7. It's almost like it doesn't matter the subject. If you have a group of people discussing it, it's bound to have some differences. People asking for specifics, rules, and what you want them to analyze. This plurality of opinions and views will surely bring a lot of value to your meetings and conclusions. Remember, plurality is not about quantity, but quality. Cool? Hello there everyone! Expanding on the concept of the 2 tasks of the leadership course I took in using the Pareto principle, there are 3 activities that make up the routine of a leader. To organize information for a clear project, to instrumentalize your team so they can work, to make decisions to improve performance. An effective leader must ensure that the information about the project, activity, or goal is clear. Many parts of everyday leadership are about communicating to people what to do. We'll talk about effective communication later. You should also ensure that your team is prepared and qualified to work on this project and activities. If you have a person working with you and you know that they do not have the necessary tools or knowledge, you will be seen as a relapsed leader. Whenever you delegate a task, one of the crucial parts to determine if it has been delegated effectively is to collect information whether your team member feels able to do it or not. Last but not least, of course, the leader makes decisions to improve the performance of the organization, the team, or the people. All decisions should be focused on improving performance, even if you take a step backwards to avoid falling into traps and the like. Note that if we compare these 3 activities with the 2 critical tasks proposed earlier, you will see that there is an implementation part, at least explicitly. You implement projects by organizing information, communicating it, and helping your team to do their job. I diluted the activities to be able to address them. We will now cover one by one. To organize information for a clear project. In the routine of a leader, there is an implicit need for the leader to gather, organize, and distribute information from and to people. An effective leader does this with well-formulated questions, worrying about achieving the goal, not only accomplishing the task itself. We will talk in subsequent lessons about the process of delegating tasks, but your role here in the information gathering is to gather all the information and organize it to pass on to your team. You have to understand a lot about team agenda, what they are doing, and to match that with ambitions for the future. In order to design an efficient project, you will need to understand the project schedule, requirements, and bottlenecks. On a daily basis, the leader filters this information and passes on in the most optimized way possible. Everything that his or her direct reports need to do their job. It will also be your role to capture what they already know, what they don't know, and what they need to do their job, to instrumentalize your team so they can work. After understanding the bottlenecks, how does the leader manage to orchestrate the machine so that it works? A good leader spends a good part of their time helping the direct reports to carry out their tasks. Software, tools, knowledge, and information about the project, among others. Although instrumentalization is not in itself something that happens every day, it does fit into the routine of a leader to plan and ensure execution so that action happens in the future. One of the biggest mistakes I noticed in project management is underestimating bottlenecks in the execution of tasks. Just to give a quick example here, I have worked with many new product launches. Often, some adjustment needed to be made or a new tool implemented. It was absurdly common for people to think that the new tool was easy or that they would get it very fast. But when the moment came during project implementation, we found out that we needed to contact the software support to resolve an issue we weren't able to figure out by ourselves. And that killed any optimism that we would meet the deadline, to make decisions to improve performance. Finally, to understand how to be a good leader, you have to know how to set the path. If you are in your first leadership position, you are likely to have a lot of assistance from your superiors or your leader in making decisions. As you gain more experience and confidence, you will make more complex and difficult decisions, and that will be expected of you. I see two very common mistakes in first-time leaders. Mistakes that are on opposite sides of a spectrum. Maybe the person is afraid to make the decision to not sound authoritarian and want to work towards a consensus or unanimity. Or the person doesn't even listen to others because they think leadership is about making decisions on their own. The solution, as you can guess, is mostly in the middle, but you can go either way. Everything will depend on the situation. You will have to make decisions more unilaterally when the scenario is an emergency or volatile, although you may be able to consult other people, or you may opt to understand and come to a consensus when it's something that everyone's engagement on a more personal level is critical for the process, or when there is time. How to be a good leader in everyday life. These three processes are very well accepted when it comes to the routine of a leader. Mastering this concept is not easy, and my intention in this lesson is to outline them. We will go deeper into them in the following lessons. We're just getting started. In this effective leadership course, I will cover these three activities, but with a greater focus on what happens in your first 2-3 weeks, what happens in your first month, and a much more in-depth description you'll find in the course My First Leadership Role. How about that? As we say in my hometown, better than that, just twice that. To recap what we saw in this lesson. We saw the three activities that make up 80% of the routine, the first month of an effective leader, based on the Pareto principle. To learn how to be a good leader involves organizing the project information, instrumentalizing your team to execute them, and making decisions to increase performance. To organize information is about you gathering, organizing, and distributing information to and from people. To instrumentalize the team is to orchestrate the machine, helping your direct reports to perform their tasks. To make decisions is part of deciding which way to go and how to go in that direction, given the questions we face in our daily lives. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel to follow the lessons, like this content if you think it can help you, and share it with your colleagues and co-workers. In the next lesson, stage of team formation, we will cover the cycle that teams go through, how to understand the steps, and how to speed up the process of creating a high-performance team. Spoiler, it does not involve escaping any of the stages. Always look both ways. See you in the future.